One of the most powerful human emotions is hatred. Everybody seems mad these days. Why is this? In today's video, we look at hatred from a psychological perspective, defining it as well as various forms of disrespect. Hatred often takes the form of hatred against other groups, which is one of the root causes of discrimination, slavery, and genocide. Economic inequality, it turns out, is also a major factor fueling hatred. Hatred and anger are at historically high levels today, especially hatred for other groups. Hatred is defined as anger and disgust directed towards individuals or others. It involves the attribution of evil to a person for their perceived wrongdoing. There is also contempt, which is a colder, calmer, and less emotional version of hatred towards others. Berit Brogard argues that in every society there are a considerable percentage of people with malevolent or evil traits. These get expressed when circumstances allow, causing them to turn into monsters. These include limited possibility for social mobility, political corruption, lingering historical ethnic biases, and polarization. Anger often emerges from a sense of injustice, where a person has been wronged or hurt unfairly. It also has a focus. So if a woman was fired by her boss and didn't feel like she should have been let off, her anger would be directed at her boss, and the boss would, in this case, be the target. In some cases, an individual may be angry at themselves, but as a defense mechanism might displace this anger towards others. So if a man were let off because he showed up late all the time, to avoid blaming himself, he might blame immigrants instead for stealing his job. Anger for others involves disrespect, of which there are three types. The first is critical disrespect, which involves a negative appraisal of a person for their questionable conduct. An example would be hating your classmate because she cheated on an exam and got a higher score, while you didn't cheat and got a lower score. Dehumanizing disrespect is to regard someone as not being human, as somebody who lacks rights and as such can be treated inhumanely. Slaves were considered this way. The Nazis viewed gypsies, Jews, and the handicapped as quote-unquote subhuman and therefore worthy of being killed. Hubristic disrespect is the arrogance and overconfidence that people feel when they treat others as inferior. They feel that they are superior and better than others as a result. Group hatred is usually exploited by a ruling class to keep them fearful and prevent any type of uprising. The way Black American slaves were treated by their owners is an example. Hatred is often linked to disgust. In Islam, if a girl has sex before she is married, it is considered adultery. The woman is now seen as quote-unquote soiled or dirty and has brought dishonor to the family. Karo Kari is what this is called, and it is a premeditated honor killing which originated in tribal areas of Pakistan. In this tradition, a male family member kills the female in question. Here we see how powerful cultural traditions can be and how they can incite hatred even against members of one's own family. During the Holocaust, many people who committed genocide, such as the ordinary soldiers of the Wehrmacht, reported they were just following orders. But a surprisingly small number of them refused to participate in such acts. This demonstrates the power of conformity. And extensive literature in psychology shows that when ordered to do something evil, many people will follow the commands of an authority figure. Propaganda is a tool used by evil people to incite hatred. Effective propaganda often incites strong emotions like disgust, fear, contempt, hate, or pride. These emotions are directed at the out group and often play on pre-existing animosities. They produce polarization and rally the in group to the dictator's cause. Economic factors play a role in hatred. Economic inequality is currently at peak levels, with a small percentage of individuals now controlling a vast majority of the world's wealth. The American dream seems to have stalled, as measures of social mobility are at historically low levels. Social mobility is the ease with which one can move from lower class to middle class or from the middle class to the upper class. One study found that after controlling for other variables, income inequality was the most significant determinant of hate incidents per capita. Younger individuals are actively recruited by extremists. Teens and young adults are more susceptible to hate propaganda because they are less able to control their emotions. The frontal cortex, responsible for rational decision-making, has yet to develop the ability to inhibit the limbic system effectively, in some cases until mid to late 20s. This results in poor impulse control, risk-taking, and emotionality in this population. Brogard mentions that many children of our current generation are overparented and lack the ability to be independent or deal with life stressors. These parents reward their children for any achievement, no matter how small. This has resulted in a generation of youth more likely to have one of the dark personality traits, like narcissism and psychopathy, which can lead to hatred and domination over others. One survey found that 70% of students today score higher on narcissism and lower on empathy than did students 30 years ago. Social media probably also plays a role here with its emphasis on self-presentation and affirmation.